The stars looked peaceful through the bridge windows of the Aurora Dawn. Captain Lisa Grant watched the endless black space ahead of them. Her ship had been traveling for 3 months now, looking for new planets and maybe new life. The crew was tired but excited. They all knew they might be the first humans to meet aliens. Maya Johnson sat at her station near the back of the bridge. She could not hear the quiet hum of the ship's engines or the soft beeping of computers. Maya had been born deaf, but that never stopped her from being one of the best communication officers in the fleet. Her fingers moved quickly over her keyboard as she checked all the radio signals from space. She was looking for anything that might be a message from intelligent life. Jake Morrison stood by the security station. He was a big man with gray hair and scars on his hands from his time as a Marine. Jake had fought in wars on 3 different planets before joining the exploration fleet. He kept watching the radar screens, always ready for trouble. His military training never left him, even on peaceful missions like this one. "Captain, I'm getting something strange," said Tom Phillips, the young officer at the sensor station. His voice was excited but worried. "There's a big object about 2 million miles ahead of us. It's not moving like a planet or asteroid." Lisa walked over to look at Tom's screen. The object was huge, bigger than their ship. It had a strange shape, not like any human vessel she had ever seen. "Can you tell what it is?" "No, ma'am. It's made of materials I don't recognize. And Captain, it's giving off energy readings that don't match anything in our database." Maya felt the vibrations in the ship change as the engines slowed down. She looked up from her work and saw everyone staring at the main screen. A large, dark shape appeared there. It looked like a massive triangle with curved edges and lights that pulsed in patterns she had never seen before. Maya's heart started beating faster. This was it. This was first contact. Lisa pressed a button on her chair. "All hands, this is the captain. We have encountered what appears to be an alien vessel. All crew report to stations. This is not a drill." Maya quickly signed to the bridge translation computer, which spoke her words out loud. "Captain, should I try to send a greeting message?" "Yes, Maya. Send everything we have. Math, pictures, music. Let them know we come in peace." Maya's hands flew over her controls. She sent radio signals, light patterns, and mathematical equations toward the alien ship. She used every method humans had ever thought of to talk to aliens. Minutes passed. The alien ship just sat there in space, silent. Then everything changed. The alien ship suddenly lit up with bright red lights. Weapons ports opened along its sides like angry eyes. Energy began building up in visible streams of light. "Captain, they're charging weapons," Tom shouted. Jake was already moving. "All hands, battle stations, this is not a drill." The first blast from the alien ship hit the Aurora Dawn hard. The lights went out for a second, then came back on red. Emergency alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Maya felt the vibrations of the impact through her feet and hands. She knew they were in serious trouble. "Return fire," Lisa ordered. "Defensive patterns only. We don't know if this is how they say hello." The Aurora Dawn's weapons fired back, but the alien ship was much stronger. It had shields that made the human weapons look like toys. Another blast hit the ship, and this time, Maya felt the floor shake under her feet. "Hull breach on deck 7. Someone called out. "Emergency doors are sealing." Maya looked at her communication station. All her equipment was still working, but no signals were coming from the alien ship except weapons fire. They were not trying to talk. They were trying to destroy the Aurora Dawn. A third blast hit the ship, and this one was different. Maya felt a horrible shaking, and then the lights in her section went out completely. Emergency power came on, but it was dim and red. She looked around and realized she was alone. The other bridge officers had moved to different stations, and smoke was filling the air. Maya tried to stand up, but her station sparked and caught fire. She grabbed a fire extinguisher and put out the flames, then looked toward the main bridge. Her heart sank. A thick emergency door had closed between her and the rest of the crew. She was trapped in the communication section. She ran to the door and tried to open it, but the control panel was dead. She pounded on the metal with her fists, but nobody could hear her. Even if they could, The alarms were so loud that her voice would not carry. Maya realized that being deaf was not her biggest problem right now. Being trapped was. Another weapons blast shook the ship. Maya was thrown against the wall and she felt pain in her shoulder. She got back up and looked around her section. There had to be another way out. But first, she needed to see what was happening. Maya found a small window that looked out into space. Through it, she could see the alien ship clearly now. It was even bigger than she had thought, and it was covered with weapons that were all pointed at the Aurora Dawn. But as she watched, she noticed something strange. The alien ship was not just shooting at them randomly. It was moving in patterns like it was dancing while it fought. Maya had studied many languages, including the body language of different human cultures. The way the alien ship moved reminded her of something, but she could not figure out what. It was almost like the ship was trying to say something with its movements. She looked back toward the bridge section and saw Jake Morrison on the other side of the emergency door. He was trying to get the door open, but it was stuck. When he saw her through the small window in the door, his face showed relief and worry at the same time. Maya knew she had to tell him what she was seeing. She moved to where he could see her clearly and began to sign. Her hands moved in the pattern that every human knew, even those who did not know sign language. 3 quick movements, 3 long ones, 3 quick ones again. The universal distress call that had been used for hundreds of years. SOS. Help me. Jake saw her hands and understood immediately. But Maya was not just asking for rescue. She was trying to tell him that she could see something important from where she was trapped, something that might save them all. Jake Morrison stared at Maya through the small window in the emergency door. Her hands were still moving in the SOS pattern, but now she was pointing at something behind her. Jake could see the worry in her eyes, but also something else. She had discovered something important. Maya turned back to the outer window and watched the alien ship attack. The huge vessel fired another blast at the Aurora Dawn, and Jake felt the ship shake around him. But Maya was not just watching the weapons. She was studying how the alien ship moved through space. The alien vessel did not stay in one place like most ships during battle. Instead, it rolled and turned in smooth patterns between each attack. Maya had seen this kind of movement before, but not in space battles. It reminded her of dance or maybe sign language, but bigger and in 3 dimensions. Jake tried the door controls again, but they were still dead. The emergency power was not enough to open the heavy blast door. He looked back at Maya and saw her hands moving again. This time she was not signing SOS. She was using the tactical hand signals that soldiers learned in basic training. Maya pointed to herself, then made the sign for watch. Then she pointed to the alien ship and made the sign for pattern. Jake understood. Maya wanted him to know that the aliens were moving in patterns, not just fighting randomly. But Maya was not finished. She pointed to the alien ship again, then moved her hands to show the ship rolling left, then right, then forward. Jake realized she was showing him exactly how the alien ship was moving. Maya had been watching their attack patterns and learning them. Another blast hit the Aurora Dawn and the lights flickered. Jake heard Captain Grant shouting orders from the main bridge, but he could not leave Maya trapped here. He needed to find a way to get her out and get her information to the captain. Maya saw Jake looking frustrated and signed to him again. This time she pointed to her eyes, then to the window, then made a circle with her finger. She wanted him to watch and learn the patterns too. Jake moved closer to a window where he could see the alien ship. The alien vessel was huge and dark, but it moved like it was alive. After each weapons blast, it would roll to the left, then move forward, then roll to the right. Then it would pause for exactly 10 seconds before firing again. Jake counted the timing. Maya was right. There was a definite pattern. Maya got Jake's attention again and showed him something new. She made the sign for more than one, then pointed to different parts of the alien ship. Jake looked more carefully and saw what she meant. The alien ship was not just one piece. It was made of several smaller ships that were connected together, and not all of them were moving the same way. The front section of the alien ship moved aggressively, always pointing its weapons at the Aurora Dawn. But the back sections moved differently. They turned and rolled in smoother patterns, almost like they were trying to be graceful instead of threatening. Jake started to understand what Maya was seeing. The alien ship was not just one mind controlling everything. Different parts were being controlled by different beings, and they did not all agree on how to fight this battle. Maya signed to Jake again, but this time she used signs he had never seen before. She was making up new signals to explain ideas that military hand signals could not cover. She pointed to the alien ship's front section and made an angry face, then showed claws with her hands. Then she pointed to the back sections and made a calmer expression, moving her hands like she was trying to soothe something. Jake got the message. Maya thought some of the aliens wanted to fight, but others did not. The alien ship was having its own argument while it attacked them. The Aurora Dawn shook again from another blast, but this time Jake noticed something Maya had taught him to see. The weapons blast came from the front of the alien ship, but immediately after, the back sections rolled away from the Aurora Dawn, like they were embarrassed or sorry about the attack. Jake needed to get this information to Captain Grant, but the door was still sealed. He looked around the bridge area and found an emergency communication panel. The main computers were down, but the backup systems were still working. He could send a message to the captain. Jake typed quickly, "Captain, Maya has discovered alien movement patterns. They appear to be multiple entities, some aggressive, some not. Aliens may be communicating through ship movements, not just attacking randomly." A few seconds later, Captain Grant's voice came through the small speaker. "Jake, can you get more details? We need to know if we can communicate with them." Jake looked back at Maya through the window. She had been watching him type and understood that he was talking to the captain. Maya moved to where Jake could see her clearly and began a complex series of hand signals. She showed Jake that the alien ship's movements followed rules, like grammar in a language. First came the aggressive movement from the front, like a question or challenge. Then came the pause, like they were waiting for an answer. Then came the gentler movements from the back, like they were trying to say something different. Maya made the sign for language and pointed to the alien ship. Then she made the sign for speak and moved her hands through the air in the same patterns the alien ship had been using. She was telling Jake that the aliens were not just fighting, they were trying to talk through their movements. Jake felt excitement and fear at the same time. If Maya was right, then the Aurora Dawn had been in the middle of a conversation without knowing it. But what had they been saying back with their weapons fire and defensive movements? Maya saw Jake thinking and signed to him again. She pointed to the Aurora Dawn, then made the sign for rude and covered her mouth like she was embarrassed. Jake understood. By just shooting back and running defensive patterns, the humans might have been saying rude things in the alien language without meaning to. Another weapons blast hit the ship, but this time Jake was ready. He watched the alien ship's movements after the attack and saw exactly what Maya had been trying to show him. The front of the alien ship stayed aggressive and pointed its weapons at them, but the back sections turned away and moved in slow, sad patterns. Jake realized that the aliens were having an argument in their movement language, and the Aurora Dawn was caught in the middle of it. Some aliens wanted to keep fighting, but others wanted to stop. The problem was that the humans did not know how to say anything except fight back in the alien movement language. Maya got Jake's attention one more time and pointed to herself, then to the alien ship, then made a gesture like she was opening a door. Jake shook his head immediately. Maya wanted to go outside the ship to try to communicate directly with the aliens. That was too dangerous. But Maya kept signing. She showed Jake that she understood languages better than anyone else on the ship. She could not hear sound, so she was an expert at reading body language and movements. If anyone could figure out how to talk to these aliens, it would be her. Jake looked at the sealed emergency door between them, then at Maya's determined face. She was trapped, but she was also in the perfect position to study the aliens, and she might be the only person who could save them all. Jake worked frantically at the emergency door controls while explosions shook the Aurora Dawn around him. Sparks flew from damaged panels, and the smell of burning circuits filled the air. Maya watched him through the small window, her hands pressed against the glass. She could see that Jake was trying everything he knew to get the door open. Finally, Jake found an emergency manual release hidden behind a panel. The heavy door made a grinding sound and slowly slid open just enough for Maya to squeeze through. She ran to Jake immediately and he grabbed her shoulders to make sure she was not hurt. "Are you okay?" Jake asked, forgetting for a moment that Maya could not hear him. She read his lips and nodded quickly. Maya pointed toward the main bridge, where Captain Grant was shouting orders. The Aurora Dawn was badly damaged and several systems were failing. Maya grabbed Jake's arm and pulled him toward Captain Grant. She had important information that could not wait. "Captain," Jake called out as they reached the command center. "Maya has figured out something about the aliens." Captain Grant looked up from a damage report. Her uniform was torn and there was a cut on her forehead from flying debris. "What is it? We're running out of time. Our shields are down to 30%. Maya moved to where Captain Grant could see her hands clearly. She began signing, and the ship's translation computer spoke her words. "Captain, the aliens are not just attacking us. They are trying to communicate through their ship movements. It is like a language made of motion instead of sound." "Explain quickly," Captain Grant said as another blast rocked the ship. Maya's hands moved rapidly as she explained what she had observed. The alien ship has different sections controlled by different beings. The front section is aggressive and wants to fight. The back sections move more gently, like they want to talk instead of fight. They are having an argument with each other and we are caught in the middle. Captain Grant looked confused. "How can you be sure they are trying to communicate?" Maya pointed to the main screen where the alien ship was visible. "Watch their movements after each attack. The front section points weapons at us, but the back sections turn away like they are sorry or embarrassed. In human sign language, turning away often means regret or disagreement." Jake added, "I watched them too, Captain. Maya is right. Their movements follow patterns like rules in a language. First they challenge us, then they wait for our response, then they show conflict among themselves." Another weapons blast hit. The Aurora Dawn and the lights flickered. Captain Grant held onto her chair as the ship shook. "Even if you are right, how does this help us? We still cannot talk to them." Maya signed urgently. "We have been talking to them, but we are saying the wrong things. When we shoot back and run defensive patterns, we might be saying rude or threatening things in their movement language. That could be making the aggressive section stronger in their argument." Tom Phillips called out from his station. "Captain, I am reading strange energy patterns from the alien ship. It looks like different sections are powering up independently. Some are charging weapons, but others are powering down." Maya turned to Jake with excitement in her eyes. She signed to him. "Do you see? The different sections are making different choices. Some want to keep fighting, but others want to stop. We need to show them that we understand there is a difference." Captain Grant watched Maya's hands as the translation computer repeated her words. "What do you suggest we do? Stop fighting back? That could get us all killed." Maya shook her head and signed, "Not stop fighting completely, but we need to change how we fight. We need to respond to the peaceful sections differently than we respond to the aggressive sections." Jake understood what Maya meant. "Captain, in military tactics, we sometimes use different responses to show we recognize different threats. Maya is suggesting we do the same thing here, but as a form of communication." The Aurora Dawn shook again, but this time Maya was watching the alien ship carefully. She pointed at the screen and signed, "Look at the timing. The aggressive section fires first, then waits. The peaceful sections move in slow patterns during the waiting time. They are trying to calm down the aggressive section, but they are also trying to show us something." Maya moved to the tactical station and began typing commands. "What if we respond to each section differently? When the aggressive section attacks, we defend normally, but when the peaceful sections make their gentle movements, we copy them." Captain Grant looked skeptical. "Copy alien ship movements? That sounds dangerous." "It is dangerous," Maya signed, "but not as dangerous as letting them think we only know how to fight. If we can show them we understand the difference between war talk and peace talk, maybe the peaceful sections will win their argument." Jake stepped forward. "Captain, Maya knows more about communication than anyone on this ship. If she thinks this could work, I think we should try it." Captain Grant looked at her damaged ship and her tired crew. The Aurora Dawn could not survive. much more fighting. All right, Maya, tell me exactly what you want us to do. Maya's hands moved quickly as she explained her plan. When the aggressive section points weapons at us, we point weapons back. That shows we are not weak. But when the peaceful sections turn away and move gently, we turn away too and move our ship gently. That shows we understand they are different from the aggressive section. Tom Phillips looked up from his controls. Captain, the alien ship is beginning another attack pattern. The front section is charging weapons. All right, Captain Grant said. We will try Maya's plan. Weapons ready, but wait for my command. The alien ship's front section fired another blast at the Aurora Dawn. Captain Grant ordered their weapons to fire back, but only a short burst. Then everyone watched the alien ship's rear sections. Just as Maya had predicted, the back sections of the alien ship turned away from the Aurora Dawn and began moving in slow rolling patterns. Maya pointed at the screen excitedly. Now, Captain Grant ordered. Tom, turn our ship to match their peaceful movements. The Aurora Dawn slowly turned and rolled to copy the gentle movements of the alien ship's rear sections. For a moment, nothing happened. Then something amazing occurred. The peaceful sections of the alien ship began moving faster and more actively. They were not attacking, but they were clearly excited. The aggressive front section stopped charging its weapons and seemed to pause as if it was confused. Maya signed rapidly. It worked. The peaceful sections are happy we responded to them. Look at how they are moving now. Those are celebration. Movements, not war movements. Jake watched the alien ship carefully. The front section seems uncertain now. Maybe the peaceful sections are gaining control of the argument. But their success was short-lived. The aggressive section of the alien ship suddenly blazed with bright red lights. It had decided to end the argument by force. Every weapon on the front section began charging at once. Maya's face went pale as she watched the energy readings spike. She signed frantically. They are preparing for a massive attack. The aggressive section is trying to destroy us before the peaceful section can stop them. Captain Grant realized they had made the situation more dangerous. By showing they could communicate, they had forced the aliens to choose sides in their argument. And the aggressive side was not going to lose without a fight. All hands brace for impact, Captain Grant announced. This is going to be the big one. Maya looked at Jake, then at the alien ship preparing to destroy them. She had learned to communicate with part of the alien crew, but now that success might get them all killed. The peaceful aliens were trying to help, but they might not be strong enough to stop their own aggressive members from finishing the fight. The alien ship's front section glowed like an angry red star as every weapon charged for the final attack. Maya could feel the vibrations through the Aurora Dawn's hull as power built up in the enemy vessel. She had seconds to act before the massive blast would destroy them all. Maya ran to the tactical controls and began typing frantically. Her hands moved faster than anyone had ever seen her work before. Captain Grant watched in confusion as Maya programmed a complex series of ship movements. Maya, what are you doing? Captain Grant asked. Maya did not look up from her work as she signed with one hand while typing with the other. The translation computer spoke her words in a rushed voice. I am programming our ship to move like sign language. If the aliens communicate through movement, then we need to speak their language properly. Jake understood immediately. She wants to turn our entire ship into a hand signal. That is crazy, Tom Phillips said from his station. We are about to be blown apart, and she wants us to dance? Maya finally looked up and signed urgently. Not dance, talk. The peaceful sections of their ship are still trying to help us, but they need to understand what we are trying to say. Our weapons and shields can only say, fight, or defend, in their language. We need to say something else. The alien ship's weapons reached full charge. Maya could see through the main screen that the front section was preparing to fire, but she also noticed that the rear sections were moving frantically, like they were arguing with the front section. Captain, trust me, Maya signed. Let me try to tell the peaceful aliens that we understand they are different from the aggressive ones. If it does not work, we are dead anyway. Captain Grant looked at her damaged ship and her brave crew. Maya was right. They had nothing left to lose. Do it. Maya activated her programmed sequence. The Aurora Dawn began to move in ways no human ship had ever moved before. Instead of the straight lines and sharp turns of normal space combat, the ship moved in flowing curves and gentle spirals. Maya had translated human sign language concepts into three-dimensional ship movements. The Aurora Dawn rolled slowly to show respect, then moved forward to show courage, then turned gently to show peaceful intentions. It was like watching a massive ballet in space. The alien ship's front section hesitated. The weapons were still charged and ready to fire, but something about the Aurora Dawn's movements made them pause. The rear sections of the alien ship began, moving even more frantically, and Maya realized they were copying some of the Aurora Dawn's movements. "It is working," Maya signed excitedly. "The peaceful sections are learning our sign language movements. They are trying to repeat what we just said." But the front section of the alien ship was not convinced. It began to move aggressively again, pointing all its weapons directly at the Aurora Dawn. Maya saw what was happening and her heart sank. The aggressive aliens thought the peaceful movements were a sign of weakness. Maya typed new commands quickly. This time, the Aurora Dawn moved differently. It showed the gentle, peaceful movements Maya had programmed before, but then it added sharp, strong movements that demonstrated the ship's weapons and defensive capabilities. Maya was trying to say that the humans were peaceful but not weak. Jake watched the alien ship's reaction carefully. The rear sections are excited, but the front section is getting angrier. "Maya, I think the aggressive ones see any peaceful movement as surrender." Maya nodded and signed. "That is why we need to show both peace and strength at the same time. In human sign language, we can show complex ideas by combining different signs. The aliens need to understand that we want peace, but we can fight if we have to." The Aurora Dawn continued its complex movements through space. Maya had programmed the ship to demonstrate mathematical concepts, show pictures through movement patterns, and even attempt to recreate some of the aliens' own movements that seemed peaceful. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. The rear sections of the alien ship began to separate from the front section. Maya watched in amazement as the huge alien vessel split into two distinct groups. The aggressive front section remained pointed at the Aurora Dawn with weapons ready, but the peaceful rear sections moved away and formed their own formation. "They are taking sides," Jake said. "The peaceful aliens are physically separating themselves from the aggressive ones." Maya signed rapidly. "This is exactly what I hoped would happen. The peaceful aliens now understand that we can tell the difference between them and the aggressive ones. They are showing us that they do not agree with the attack." Captain Grant looked at the split alien formation. "So now what? Do we have two different alien groups to deal with?" The answer came quickly. The aggressive section of aliens fired a blast at the Aurora Dawn, but it was not as powerful as before. Maya realized that by separating from the rear sections, the front section had lost some of its power and weapons. At the same time, the peaceful alien sections began moving in protective patterns around the Aurora Dawn. They were not attacking the aggressive aliens, but they were clearly trying to shield the human ship from further attacks. Maya pointed at the screen and signed, "The peaceful aliens are protecting us from their own aggressive members. This is unprecedented. They are choosing to help us instead of their own species members." But the situation was still dangerous. The aggressive aliens were furious that their own people had sided with the humans. They charged their remaining weapons and prepared for an attack that would target both the Aurora Dawn and the peaceful alien sections. Maya realized that her communication breakthrough had created a three-way conflict. The aggressive aliens were now fighting both the humans and their own peaceful members. The peaceful aliens were trying to protect the humans but could not attack their own species, and the humans were caught in the middle of an alien civil war. Jake understood the tactical situation immediately. "Maya, the peaceful aliens are in danger now because they helped us. The aggressive ones are going to attack them too." Maya nodded and began programming new movements for the Aurora Dawn. "We have to help protect the peaceful ones. They risked everything to help us. Now it is our turn to help them." Captain Grant looked uncertain. "Maya, we barely survived fighting one group of aliens. Now you want us to fight alongside the other group against the first group?" "Not fight alongside them," Maya signed. "Communicate alongside them. Show the aggressive aliens that they are outnumbered now. Sometimes in communication, the message is not what you say, but how many people are saying it with you. Maya programmed the Aurora Dawn to move in formation with the peaceful alien sections. Together, they created a complex pattern of movements that combined human sign language with alien movement communication. The message was clear. The peaceful aliens and the humans were united. The aggressive alien section found itself alone, facing a combined human-alien alliance that spoke the same movement language. For the first time since the battle began, the aggressive aliens were uncertain about what to do next. Maya stared at the alien formations on the main screen. The peaceful alien ships had formed a protective circle around the Aurora Dawn, while the aggressive aliens hung back in space, their weapons still glowing red with anger. Both sides seemed to be waiting for something, but Maya was not sure what. "Captain," Maya signed, "I think the peaceful aliens want to communicate directly with us, but they do not know how to get closer without starting another fight." Jake pointed at the tactical display. "The aggressive aliens are keeping their distance, but they are not leaving. They are waiting to see what we do next." Captain Grant looked at the damage report scrolling across her screen. The Aurora Dawn had taken heavy damage, but the ship was still functional. More importantly, they were still alive because of the peaceful aliens protecting them. Maya walked to the communication station and began studying the alien ship designs more carefully. She had noticed something during the battle that she had not fully understood before. The alien ships did not have the same kind of windows or viewing ports that human ships had. Instead, they had strange sensor arrays that seemed to detect movement and vibration rather than light. "Jake, look at this," Maya signed. "I think the aliens cannot see the same way we do. Their ships are designed to sense movement and vibration, not light and color. That is why they communicate through ship movements instead of radio signals or light patterns." Jake studied the alien ship designs that Maya was pointing to. "You mean they are like you? They navigate the world without using sound?" Maya nodded, excitedly. "Exactly. But instead of being deaf to sound, they might be blind to light. Or maybe their world never developed sound-based communication. They learned to talk through movement because that is the only way they could communicate." This discovery changed everything. Maya realized that the aliens were not just choosing to communicate through movement. It might be the only way they could communicate at all. This meant that her ability to understand nonverbal communication was not just helpful, it was essential. Captain Grant watched Maya's hands as she explained her theory. "If you are right, Maya, then you might be the only person on this ship who can really understand them." Maya looked at the alien ships through the main window and made a decision that surprised everyone. She turned to Captain Grant and signed, "I want to go outside the ship to meet them directly." "Absolutely not," Jake said immediately, even though Maya could not hear him. He moved to where she could see his face and shook his head firmly. Maya signed back to him. "Jake, this is the only way. The peaceful aliens are risking their lives to protect us, but we still cannot really communicate with them through ship movements alone. I need to get closer so I can understand their detailed movements." Captain Grant looked at Maya like she had suggested jumping into a star. "Maya, that is suicide. Even if the peaceful aliens want to help us, we do not know if they understand that humans need air to breathe, or that space is deadly for us." Maya had thought about this problem. She signed, "I will wear a spacesuit with extra air supplies, and I will take a safety line so you can pull me back if something goes wrong. But Captain, we need to understand these aliens better if we want to make real peace with them." Jake stepped closer to Maya. "I am not letting you go out there alone. If you are determined to do this crazy thing, then I am going with you." Maya started to protest, but Jake held up his hand. "Maya, you are the expert on communication, but I am the expert on staying alive in dangerous situations. We need both skills for this to work." Tom Phillips called out from his station. "Captain, the peaceful alien ships are moving closer to us. I think they want to communicate too, but they are being very careful about it." Maya looked at the screen and saw that Tom was right. The peaceful alien ships were moving in slow, gentle patterns toward the Aurora Dawn. They were trying to show that they were not threatening, but they also seemed frustrated that they could not communicate more clearly. They are trying to tell Us something important, Maya signed. Look at how they keep pointing toward the aggressive alien ships, then back to us. I think they are trying to warn us about something. Captain Grant made a difficult decision. Maya, I am going to let you try this, but with conditions. You and Jake will wear the best spacesuits we have, with double air supplies and emergency rescue beacons. You will stay connected to the ship with safety lines at all times, and if I give the order to come back, you come back immediately. Maya nodded gratefully. She and Jake quickly went to the equipment bay to put on spacesuits. The suits were bulky and made movement difficult, but they had clear face masks that would allow the aliens to see Maya's facial expressions and hand movements. As they prepared for the spacewalk, Jake asked Maya, "How are you going to communicate with aliens when you cannot even hear if they make sounds?" Maya smiled and signed, "Jake, that is exactly why I am the right person for this job. I have spent my whole life learning to understand what people are saying without using sound. I know how to read body language, facial expressions, and hand movements better than anyone." 20 minutes later, Maya and Jake were floating in space between the Aurora Dawn and the nearest peaceful alien ship. The alien vessel was even more impressive up close. It was covered with what looked like sensors and communication arrays, all designed to detect the smallest movements. Maya began moving her hands in slow, deliberate patterns. She started with simple mathematical concepts, then moved to basic sign language greetings. The alien ship responded by moving in small, careful patterns that seemed to mirror some of Maya's movements. Jake watched nervously as Maya and the alien ship continued their silent conversation in space. He could not understand what they were saying to each other, but he could see that something important was happening. Suddenly, a section of the alien ship opened, and a figure emerged. It was wearing something like a spacesuit, but it moved differently than humans did. The alien was tall and thin, with long arms that moved in graceful patterns, even in the vacuum of space. Maya realized she was looking at an alien who communicated the same way she did. The alien began moving its long arms in complex patterns, and Maya tried to copy the movements with her own hands. For the first time in human history, a person was having a direct conversation with an alien being. And that conversation was happening in complete silence, using only movement and gesture, between a deaf human girl and an alien who had evolved to communicate without sound. Maya felt a moment of perfect understanding as she realized that her disability had become humanity's greatest advantage. She was not just the right person to talk to these aliens. She might be the only person who could. Maya floated in space facing the alien being, her heart beating so fast she could feel it in her chest. The alien was beautiful in a strange way, with long arms that moved like water and a face that showed intelligence and curiosity. Maya could see that the alien was just as nervous and excited as she was. The alien began moving its arms in slow, careful patterns. Maya watched closely and realized the movements were similar to mathematical concepts she knew. The alien was showing her numbers, starting with simple counting and moving to more complex ideas. Maya responded by showing her own version of numbers with her hands. She counted from 1 to 10 using human sign language, then repeated the same numbers using finger counting that any human culture would understand. The alien watched her carefully and began copying her movements. Jake floated nearby, keeping watch for danger but also witnessing the most important moment in human history. He could not understand the conversation, but he could see that Maya and the alien were learning to understand each other. The alien pointed toward the aggressive alien ships in the distance, then made movements that looked angry and violent. Then it pointed to its own peaceful ships and made gentle, flowing movements. Maya understood immediately. The alien was explaining that its people were divided into two groups with very different ideas about how to treat other species. Maya pointed to herself, then to Jake, then made sweeping gestures toward the Aurora Dawn. She was trying to explain that humans were also individuals with different ideas, but they had chosen to send a peaceful exploration mission instead of warships. Takant, alien seemed to understand. It made movements that looked like questions, pointing toward Earth's direction and tilting its head. Maya realized the alien wanted to know more about human civilization. Maya thought carefully about how to explain humanity in movements. She pointed to her ears and shook her head, then pointed to the alien and made questioning gestures. She was asking if the alien also could not hear sounds. The alien responded with excited movements. It pointed to its own ear area and made the same negative gesture Maya had used. Then it moved its hands in patterns that seemed to indicate its whole species communicated through movement and touch, rather than sound. Maya felt a deep connection with this alien being. They both lived in worlds without sound, but they had both learned to communicate in beautiful and complex ways. Maya began showing the alien how human sign language worked, demonstrating how different hand shapes and movements could express emotions, ideas, and complex thoughts. The alien was fascinated and began showing Maya its own movement language. The alien's communications were more flowing and three-dimensional than human sign language, but Maya could see the patterns and grammar behind them. Suddenly, Jake tapped Maya's shoulder urgently. The aggressive alien ships were moving closer, and their weapons were charging again. The peaceful alien saw this too and began making urgent warning movements to Maya. Maya understood that the aggressive aliens had decided to end the communication, attempt by force. They were going to attack both the peaceful aliens and the humans to stop any chance of cooperation between the two species. The peaceful alien pointed to Maya, then to its own ship, then made protective gestures. It was offering to take Maya and Jake to safety on its ship, but Maya shook her head and pointed back toward the Aurora Dawn. She could not abandon her crew. Maya had an idea. She began moving in large, dramatic patterns that both the peaceful alien and Jake could see clearly. She was showing the alien that humans and the peaceful aliens needed to work together to stop the aggressive aliens from destroying both groups. The alien understood and began communicating rapidly with its own ships. Maya watched as the peaceful alien vessels began moving into new formations. They were preparing for battle, but not against humans. They were preparing to fight their own aggressive members to protect their new human friends. Jake and Maya quickly returned to the Aurora Dawn as the space around them erupted into an alien civil war. The peaceful aliens had made their choice. They would rather fight their own people than let the aggressive aliens destroy the first species they had ever been able to truly communicate with. Captain Grant welcomed Maya and Jake back aboard just as the battle began. But this time, the Aurora Dawn was not alone. The peaceful alien ships fought alongside the human vessel, protecting it from attacks while also trying to disable, rather than destroy, the aggressive alien ships. Maya watched the battle from the bridge and realized something beautiful was happening. The peaceful aliens were not trying to kill their aggressive members. Instead, they were using precise attacks to disable weapons and engines, trying to stop the violence without causing unnecessary death. They are showing mercy, Maya signed to Captain Grant. Even though the aggressive aliens tried to destroy us and them, the peaceful ones are still trying to save their lives. The battle did not last long. The aggressive alien ships found themselves outnumbered and outfought by the combined human and peaceful alien forces. More importantly, they realized that their own people had chosen to side with aliens rather than support aggression and violence. One by one, the aggressive alien ships powered down their weapons. They had lost the argument, and they knew it. The peaceful aliens had proven that cooperation and communication were stronger than violence and fear. Maya requested permission to go back into space for another meeting with the alien she had first communicated with. This time, Captain Grant agreed immediately. Maya was now officially humanity's first alien ambassador. In the quiet of space, Maya and the alien being met again. The alien began teaching Maya more complex aspects of its language, while Maya shared more about human culture and communication. They talked about their worlds, their peoples, and their hopes for the future. The alien, who Maya learned was called something like Velthara in human sounds, explained that her people had been traveling through space for many cycles, looking for other species who could communicate without sound. Most species they had met used only sound-based language, which made communication nearly impossible. Maya was the first being from another species who could truly understand them. She was proof that the universe contained other forms of intelligence that did not depend on hearing or sound-based communication. Maya taught Velthara basic human sign language, while Velthara taught Maya the flowing movement language of her people. Jake, watching from the Aurora Dawn, began learning both languages, so he could help translate in the future. When they finally returned to their ships, Maya and Velthara had established the foundation for ongoing communication between their species. The aggressive aliens, having seen the success of peaceful communication, agreed to try talking instead of fighting. Maya had become the bridge between two species. Her deafness, which some people had seen as a limitation, had become the key to humanity's first successful contact with intelligent aliens. The girl who could not hear sounds had taught both species to listen with their eyes and speak with their hands. Captain Grant watched Maya teaching sign language to other crew members so they could communicate with their new alien friends. The Aurora Dawn would return to Earth with the most important cargo in human history, proof that the universe was full of intelligence, and that differences in communication were not barriers to understanding, but opportunities to learn new ways of connecting with others. Maya looked out at the alien ships traveling alongside the Aurora Dawn and smiled. She had found beings who understood that communication was not about the sounds you could make, but about the connections you could build.